We all were made in the image of our creator, so inherently we are creative. Everyone has to be all hands on deck to put on a show, but then it is so rewarding at the end of the day when we can like sit back at the end of the night and be like, okay, we just pulled this off, we did this.
When you speak the truth and you speak it boldly, good things happen. You were probably a little afraid of saying that. It's just about being authentic.
Especially being in LA, I feel like people are notorious for like maybe kind of being like quote unquote fake, you know, like they'll be nice to your face and then turn around and, you know, talk smack behind your back. I feel like I got plugged into a really awesome community of people that are believers and also creatives in the industry. Yeah, I definitely believe like the energy you put out is like what you receive.
We are created to create, no matter who we are. We are not artists or scientists, teachers or tradesmen. We are the Imago Dei. Let us walk in the good works you've created for us.
I used to be a chauffeur actually too. I drove Lesso and then we drove Linium and Skrillex as well. Fredigan is a generational artist that we're watching right now.
When Fred did his residency at the Shrine this past fall, got told to go pick him and a couple of people in his crew up in Venice and drive them over to the venue. Obviously, because I'm driving, I'm like overhearing their conversations in the car, and he says out loud,
but I'm excited. Today's gonna be a good episode. We're gonna get right into it. We're gonna talk about a lot of different stuff. Just gonna pull my notes up real quick.
I'm also doing well though, thank you.
Oh yeah, I forgot you had to answer your question.
Yeah, I did. I'm like, oh, okay, never mind.
did you get off a flight this morning?
I did not get off a flight this morning, but my best friend from high school just got married this past weekend.
That's
Whoa.
right, bro.
Yeah, I was a groomsman. It was so sick. So it's like super surreal, you know, to see like a dude that I've known since I was, 14, 15? Went through a lot of this, you know, the stages of life and adulthood, and now he's like married, and it's crazy. I'm actually taking him and his now wife to the airport later to LAX
for the honeymoon
tonight for the honeymoon. Yeah,
ooh,
That's so sweet.
crazy. And then I DJ at a wedding the next day in Malibu. So like, yeah,
of course you do.
Insane.
Of course you do. Actually, well, I'll intro real quick, and then I want you guys to explain what you do too, because it's pretty sick. Okay, guys, today, well, first of all, welcome to Create a Crate. Today we're going to talk about like authenticity, teamwork, community, and I'm really excited to have you guys on, Maggie and Lorenzo, Zo, like a Z. What do we call you?
I go by either one, but when I moved to LA, everyone started calling me Zo for some reason.
Okay, we'll go.
I like
Zo.
that. Like that.
Zo's easy. I like it, and it's swaggy too.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But you guys are in the music industry. Zo, DJ, producer, Maggie, touring musician, tour manager,
photographer,
photographer. So
I
you
didn't
guys
know
have she crushes. She crushes.
Thank you.
So you guys have a lot of experience in doing that. Obviously, what's one of the favorite things about what you do? Really quick.
For me, I, over the last couple of years, have gotten to work with a lot of developing artists and smaller artists that are starting out in their careers. And I think there's something so special about being at the beginning of something and building momentum and getting to cheer them on in that and be there for the beginning stages of everything happening. That's so special.
Oh, yeah. For me, I love people and I love parties. So, I mean, I get to party for a living, essentially. And so, like, that's the most, like, fun thing, just being able to, like, drop a song on the dance floor and people just, you know,
go
crazy. Or just, like, especially for weddings, like, seeing people just, like, create memories with, like, their loved ones and family members and being able to, like, help cultivate that, I think is super great.
Dude, yeah, I know. It's so cool to watch you both do what you do. I've had the blessing of having firsthand experience for both of you guys. Dude Perfect tour last year,
which I was not tour managing, but I was doing managing. VIP. Yeah.
You were doing big things.
Thanks.
Don't downplay it.
Okay.
But I got to see you in action, and I've gotten to see you in action, both doing your thing, and you guys are incredible. So
thank you.
Just know that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So kind.
No need to cry. Come on, man.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm so sleep deprived. I just start tearing up.
You're like, please give me some more water.
It's the nicest thing anyone's ever told me.
But you guys can also like hold the mic closer. I was just messing with the levels, and we're good now. Now we can like sound really close to each other. I know you can't hear it, but I can hear it, and it sounds amazing. Yeah.
I forgot my in-ears.
I know. I have to have this like whole setup over here with like the extension cord and everything. I feel like a musician now.
There you go. You're ready to go on stage.
Yeah.
I'll run your playback.
Bet. That's the next thing I gotta get. I gotta get like I gotta program some sounds on my soundboard over here.
Oh, so like
yeah,
that was fire. That sucked.
Welcome to Created to Create, something like that.
Oh, like a cool little intro. Yeah, that'd be fire.
That would be so cool.
That'd be sick. We'll see if it happens. Maybe.
Recently, Zo was DJing an event that we were all at, and I went up to his, what do you call it, your booth?
Yeah, the DJ booth.
The DJ booth, yeah. And I was like, Zo, can I do something? And I like start hitting buttons. Could not get the timing of the record scratching.
She did
down.
something all right. Yeah.
What did she do?
Well, I think she was wanting me to teach her how to scratch, like do like a little like and yeah, she did it, and everybody in the crowd was like,
that was bad.
they like, oh, look at the DJ booth, and we're just like, yeah, DJ Maggie. And
yeah, I was gonna say, what do you do at that point? You just like, oh, it wasn't me. Or,
yeah,
or
I stepped off to the side, and I just let her be in that moment.
that moment of failure.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
No, I was right there. I was just like, yeah,
DJ
DJ Mag, just like hyping her up, and everybody was like, oh, all right, cool, whatever. Like,
they're like, we're leaving.
What would be your DJ name? DJ Mags?
DJ Mags with a Z.
With the Z.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's fire. I like that.
Following the trend.
I like that.
Yeah, because yours is
Legacy.
Legacy.
With the
yeah.
Z.
What does Lega stand for?
Honestly, that doesn't really mean anything. No, it's just it's a combination of like the word is like legacy, just like a play on the word like legacy, but with the Z.
That's
and I thought it was
cool,
like,
actually.
yeah, kind of was a little creative with it and did something different. But yeah, I've heard people say Ligas.
Why do they combine it? Like, there's clearly a space there.
I don't know, man. People do the funniest things. Like,
everybody's brain's different.
everyone's brain's different. Yeah, exactly. So I put a little space there on purpose to make it like a little easier to pronounce it, like Lega Z.
Yeah.
And people still get it wrong sometimes.
You got to put 5 spaces now.
Yeah. Lega
Z.
Z. Yeah. Z.
Have you always stylized it that way with the space, or did you used to put it together as one word?
Yeah, so I've actually messed around with a couple different spellings of it. And I think 2 years ago, I'm like, you know what? Let's put a space in between it just to kind of try it out. Because visually, I think it looks kind of cool.
Yeah. No, it's awesome.
I think so, too.
Yeah. I go back and
with
forth, man, of whether just to like get rid of the space or keep the space. But as of right now, we're going to keep the space.
Well, while we're on it, you have recently come out with some new music. Can you talk a little bit about like the type of music and why?
Yeah, so my music journey has been kind of fun. So I started off making like indie pop music, which I still love. But when I started DJing full time more and now wanting to be like in the festival circuit, I thought to myself, I want to make music that I can actually like play at my shows. And all these cats that are doing all these stuff, like all these festivals, they make dance music, and I love dance music. So I figured it just was a natural progression to start making dance music. But I also love like Latin music, like cumbias, merengue. Like I'm also Hispanic, so like I love that kind of stuff. And so for me, I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna jump into the dance world, how can I give it my flavor? Or try to do something a little different. You know, there's people making Latin EDM music, but I want to do it.
It's not like a new thing.
It's not a new, exactly. It's not a new thing, but I figured I have something to contribute to that space and kind of give it my flavor, which has been fun. But yeah, the recent song I just put out is called Guanabana.
What does that mean?
It's a fruit
for us gringos out
there. Yeah. So actually, I've never seen the word in my life until I think it was like 2 months ago. My roommate and I, we were in the kitchen. And he speaks fluent Spanish. And he was talking about stuff, and he said guanabana, and I'm like, what is that? And he's like, oh, it's a fruit. And I just started thinking to myself, oh, she's sweet, just like guanabana. Just kind of coming up with like a little like jingle in my head. And then I went to my room immediately and just started making the song. And then like a month later, came out like this song. Essentially, the song is like relating your lover to like a fruit that's sweet, you know?
Yeah. Have you ever had guanabana?
I haven't, but it's like on my bucket list.
You gotta try it now.
I gotta try it.
Where do you have to go? Do you know where you have to go to get it?
So apparently you could just get it at like the market. So in English, it's
I need to try some, bro.
Yeah.
Why are we not doing that right now?
Yeah, actually, we're gonna pause right now. I'm gonna go get some. So in English, it's a sour sop or sour sup.
Okay.
It's an ugly looking fruit.
But it sounds like it kind of.
Yeah, it's like all like, it kind of looks like a dragon egg.
Yeah.
But apparently it's like really sweet. Like it's like a combination between like a banana and a strawberry, apparently.
Whoa.
I've never tried it.
That was my question.
I love strawberry banana things.
Yeah.
This is my favorite flavor for like smoothies and all that. So
Yeah.
I might just have to ditch the strawberry banana and go with a guanabana.
Guanabana.
Oh, not V, a B.
Guanabana.
Guanabana.
Yeah. Guanabana.
I'm just picturing a minion saying that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure they probably did say that at one point.
Honestly, I was wondering if it was sweet because it would kind of ruin the point if you haven't tried it and you wrote that lyric to find out that it's like a really sour fruit later.
Oh, like you can't eat it because it's poisonous or something?
Yeah.
That's actually hilarious because I was halfway done with the song and I'm like, I should look up to see if you can actually just like eat this fruit. And I looked it up and it said, oh, it's sweet, tangy fruit. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Good.
Like, we're good.
You're safe.
Yeah, we're safe. I'm not saying like my lover is like toxic and whatever.
Disgusting.
Yeah, disgusting. You know,
You do have a song about that, though.
I do.
Yeah.
I do have a song about that. It's called Top Tier Toxic.
It's a good one.
It's about toxic exes.
Yeah.
But this one is about your lover being sweet, you know?
Which is much nicer.
Much nicer.
So
yeah.
nice.
You mentioned that you were just like chopping it up with your homie in the kitchen, and then that inspired the song. How do you like find inspiration? Because that's something I want to talk about today.
Yeah. So in that case, like random words will like inspire stuff. Like just seeing the word guanabana, I was just down a rabbit trail of like endless possibilities. Funny enough, the shower. Like I'll be in the shower,
yeah,
and then just these random melodies will come to my head, and so I record everything like on my phone here, like little.
Yeah.
I have thousands of like little voice memos, whatever. So recently, I was in the shower, you know, getting clean and whatnot, and this little dude
As one does.
Yeah, as one does. This little melody came to my head, and I knew I had to record it right then and there, otherwise I was going to forget it. So I like jump out the shower, all wet, my floor is covered in water, and I'm like, all right, cool. And then jump back in, and then finish the shower.
Was the running water sound in the background?
Probably. Actually, yeah, most definitely.
Did you keep that into the final?
I actually haven't done anything with it yet. So I make sure I record it, and then I listen to it after the fact. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. So in this case, I actually haven't listened to that one yet. So it might be.
That's so funny.
It might be trash, but
that's so funny.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard the shower works.
Shower thoughts.
Shower thoughts.
It's a thing.
Because I don't know about for you, but for me, when I'm in the shower, I just like turn off my brain and just exist.
I mean, what else is there to do? Watch yourself.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can't distract yourself with technology. You can't just like pick up your
True.
phone.
Yeah.
I would hope.
Unless you remember those life-proof cases for
Yes.
Apple?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or for
Oh.
everything, but
Yeah.
yeah, I had one of those too. And so like when I was, I don't know, probably 15, 16, I had one of those. And so then, yeah, I would like watch Netflix in the shower and stuff.
So what I'm hearing is you're an iPad kid.
I actually wasn't. I was at that point, like 15, 16 was when that's when I first got an iPod.
Okay.
So no iPad, even though I do have an iPad now. Don't judge me. No iPad, but yeah, I like played in the woods growing up, bro. Like for me, and that's where a lot of my inspiration comes from now, is like being outside, like going for walks, drives. But yeah, like me and my siblings, I'm one of 10, and me and my siblings would just like go out in the woods and like create random worlds. Like we would be like, oh, like, you know how like you'd play like Cowboys and Indians in the recess? Like we would play that for like a week, and everybody would have a role, and you would play that like like we would create a society and live in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
That's
is
so
fire.
cool.
Yeah.
Would you? I don't know if you did this as a kid, but when I did kind of did a similar thing with my friends, but I felt like I would always think of like in my head, like at the time, like a cool line for my friend to say if we were like role playing something.
Yeah.
And I would stop and be like, wait, can you say this line, or can you say this or whatever? So did you ever do that? Like, did you ever come up with like a script or anything?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we would play out roles. I wouldn't, but like my sisters would have babies. Like you'd have like a whole family, and you just live in it, and like, yeah, you'd have kids. You'd create. We'd make like a store, a bank. Everybody would have a role, like I said, and so yeah, you would like basically come up with scenes in your head and act them out.
What was the currency?
Yeah, the currency.
Yeah.
It depends, bro. Anything from like sticks to actual money that we would just have, or Monopoly money was a big one too. Like obviously, if we're able to get like real with it. I don't know.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the difference between guys and girls. Not that both can't do both, but I feel like so many girls bond over a shared experience of having dolls as a kid, whether that's like Barbies or Polly Pockets or American Girl dolls, and like having them play with each other and like act different things out.
Yeah, I had
That's
6
funny.
sisters, so that's a big part of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
How
I
many
was
times
I was
did
the
you
middle
get?
kid.
Oh, sorry.
I was the middle kid, so I was like right in the middle. Yeah.
Whoa.
How many times did you get dressed up in their clothes?
I don't want to talk about it right now.
You can tell me after we're done filming.
Yeah, when we're done filming.
Okay, I have to
No,
cough.
way too many times.
Really loud.
She got it. Do you want some water?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I've had a disgusting lingering cough for like 2 months now.
Those are the worst.
I might have walking pneumonia. Who knows?
Well,
Well, this has been
now we
fun.
have it, yeah.
Sorry, no. I did go get a steroid shot. I've been on an antibiotic. I promise.
She's good, guys. She's good.
I'm good.
She passed the test.
Yes.
Maggie, I want to ask you a question about just like teamwork, and both of you guys, but we'll start with you. So, teamwork when it comes to like production and getting a job done, like how important is that, and what's like one of the main benefits of good teamwork?
That's a really good question. I think specifically with work and with tour managing, when you're on the road, you are working and living with the same people for weeks or months on end. And a lot of times that's the band and the artist and me and whoever else is in the crew. And I always tell people with touring, it's either really great or it's really, really awful, and there's no in between. And I think the thing to that is when you can communicate and get along, even if it doesn't come naturally, even if it's hard to get along, but when you can work as a team with the common goal of putting on a good show and supporting each other and working hard every day, touring can be such an incredible experience and such a cool thing. But especially with these like smaller indie tours with developing artists that I have been doing, everyone has to take on roles that aren't necessarily in your job description. So I'm tour manager and merch manager and photographer or driver. And then you've got a guy running sound doing front of house that's also the monitors engineer and the playback tech. And so there's just a lot of people doing a lot of things.
It's like a startup almost.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone has to be all hands on deck to put on a show. But then it is so rewarding at the end of the day when we can like sit back at the end of the night and be like, okay, we just pulled this off. We did this. It went off without a hitch. That was incredible. And
It's a good feeling.
Yeah,
I can
it's
imagine.
A really good feeling.
You mentioned like making it work or like being a team even if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like there's a story there. Like, and I guess I have a question too. But if you have a story on the top of your head,
I don't necessarily have a story. I think just what I meant by that is it really is such a unique experience to be in a role like that where you're not clocking in or out and you are constantly with the people that you work with. And so sometimes you go into a show and you arrive at the venue after you've already all been in a van together for 7 hours and you all stayed in the same hotel room the night before and you're just exhausted and kind of sick of each other.
yeah.
I don't know. So
Are there ever any like conflicts that have to be resolved, and how do you go about that?
definitely. And I think as the tour manager, usually it's my job to keep everybody happy and keep everyone fed and keep things running smoothly. And so when conflicts arise, it's kind of my job to get in there and whether it's between me and someone else or my band and help resolve it. Yeah, I don't know that I have any super specific examples off the top of my head, but I think just when exhaustion kicks in and there are so many different personalities, it can get interesting.
I'm sure.
That
I don't
felt
know.
loaded.
That felt very loaded. Yeah.
No.
We'll break it down. Like theoretically, a conflict
Theoretically.
arises, right? We don't have to get into specifics, but like, who do you talk to first? How do you navigate like even the beginning of you find out there's a conflict, someone did someone wrong, whether it was someone doing you wrong or someone doing something else wrong? How do you attack that?
Yeah, I mean, I think the the most frequent and like common conflict that comes up is between my team and the venue, or like the venue staff, because sometimes we're not on the same page.
Yeah.
Or you run into personalities that just aren't the loveliest.
Personalities? Oh,
yeah.
no.
You run into people that are...
You mean people are different?
You run into people that are not very accommodating. And I think I've learned how important it is.
People aren't solution oriented.
I've learned the importance of just like having my team's back and making sure that we're always a united front. So between me and the artist and band, if one of the band members comes to me and he's like, hey, the sound guy tonight just said this thing to me that was so rude, or like I asked him this question and it wasn't helpful, I'm kind of the one that has to go talk to somebody and figure that out.
Yeah.
Within like our team, a lot of times I'm working with a singular artist, and maybe it's their project, and then the band is hired. So the artist is paying me, the artist is my priority, and I have to make sure that like we are constantly communicating and on the same page about who they are, how they want to run things, how they want to be represented, and then execute that. And so sometimes that looks like having to pull somebody outside of the venue. If I have a drummer or a bassist or a guitarist, literally behind the venue, I have to be like, hey, listen, maybe this thing happened, or you said something that is not a reflection of like who we want to be or how we're acting, and everything that we say and do reflects back on this artist and their project. And so, yeah.
Gotta put them in check.
That's right.
I do actually have a story
Maggie
about this.
Kimbrough about to throw hands out here.
Yeah, boss Maggie. Hey, yo, you better get in line, otherwise I'm gonna break your legs.
Yeah, this ain't no fun. DJ Mag's out here.
This is boss Maggie.
I do have a fun story of putting someone in their place, actually.
Oh, let's
if you want to hear it.
Ooh, spill it.
One time I was on tour with this indie rock band who I love, and they were a 6-piece band, and then we had 2 other bands on the lineup for the entire tour. So we had the band I was working for, direct support, and then a first of 3. And I was the only crew person on the entire tour. So it was like our band of 6. The direct support band, I think, had 4 people. And then the first of 3 had 5. And so big tour. We don't have...
Big things.
Big things. We don't have a sound guy. We don't have a monitors person. We don't have like any crew members. And I ended up kind of tour managing for everyone. So I was just hired by the headline artist, but had to kind of do some advancing and do some work on behalf of the other 2 bands. And we get 2 weeks into this 6-week tour, and the drummer in the first band of the 3 loved to just like give me, he loved to give me grief. Like, what
kind of grief are we talking?
Like sometimes he would just be disrespectful if I would ask him to like do something, because I was running everything and producing the show, and so I would be like, hey, can you grab that thing, or can you guys make sure you load out at this time so that we can transition pretty quickly between the different acts in the show. Whatever.
Classic communication.
No, literally just ask him to do things, and he would always be like so rude, or be like, stop bossing me around, or just kind of like, he was sassy.
Drummers are the worst.
No, I know. Seriously. Let's go. But
except for our friend Chase is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's true. Chase. We love Chase.
Yeah.
He's great. But anyways, he was...
shout out to the good ones,
Yeah. All one of you.
You do. All one of you drummers. I stand by that statement. But anyways, I'm making this a longer story than it needs to be. It got to this point where he was so rude to me consistently that I was like, I'm not dealing with this anymore. And he was getting drunk off his ass every night. And I was like, we're also not doing this. Sorry, do you have to bleep it?
No. I'm just saying, tough.
I was like, do you have to bleep me for saying ass? No. Anyways, so he was drunk every night. He was disrespectful. I pull him out because I'm like, I'm not doing this for another 4 weeks. And his band was all frustrated, but no one was talking to him about it. They just thought he was obnoxious and like being really rude. And I pull him outside and I was like, listen, I am so sick of you talking to me the way you're talking to me. It is not okay. And it is a privilege to be here. You are so talented and you're great at what you do. But if you keep acting like this, you're going to get kicked out of the band. And I don't want that for you. Or you're going to get kicked off this tour if I'm in charge of it. I will make sure that happens. So you better figure out your crap and remember this conversation tomorrow, even though you're so drunk that you'll probably forget it. I don't want to hear anything else. All right? And he was like, yeah, I'm really sorry. And I was like, it's fine. But we're not doing this again. I'm not having this conversation with you twice. And from then on, We were great.
Yeah, I would have said the same thing.
We were great.
I'd have been like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
He was like,
anything you
"Yes,
say,
ma'am."
ma'am. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, whatever you say.
Yeah, and now we're buddies. Like, we love each other. He's one of my
that's cool.
friends. I see him when I'm back in Nashville. I saw his band recently, and we
That's
laugh
epic.
about it. But he was like, I needed you to call me out. And I was like, good, because you were being a drunk asshole, and I was over it. And now we're homies.
Isn't that interesting though? Like when you speak the truth and you speak it boldly, like good things happen.
Right.
People come around and it's not about like it was not like you were like, I know if I say this, he's going to come around.
Right.
You were probably a little afraid of saying that.
I was
like,
going to get him kicked off the tour if he kept acting like that. Yeah.
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 But sometimes like that's the harsh truth that we need.
Totally.
And so it's cool. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. And
props to you for saying it.
thanks. And it was also an opportunity to, like, instead of just like being mean to him or going off
Yeah, you
on
were
him,
respectful.
I was like, hey, you're so talented
Yeah.
and like you're killing it. You're good at your job. I want you to be able to be here and I want
Mm-hmm.
you to enjoy this. But like you can't keep acting this way.
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes that sucks to hear and be
It
on the
does.
receiving end of. But I think that's how we grow, is like
Yeah.
learning and sometimes being called out.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, even bringing faith into it, like that's how my relationship with God works. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'll continue if I don't get reprimanded, corrected, or convicted. Yeah, of course I'll continue to do sin until it like ends up in a trash heap. You know, because
Right.
it's fun. Like in the moment, it's fun.
Right.
So
And that's what discipline's all about.
yeah,
Right. It's for a benefit.
That tough love.
tough love. That's what I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
about.
Let's go.
That's what I'm talking about.
Goodness gracious.
It's just about being authentic. About being authentic.
Yep.
Zoe, what does it mean to be authentic to you?
Ooh, what does it mean to be authentic?
Yeah, what does it mean, or what's one
to
way
me?
you
Yeah, I
are
think the first
authentic?
thing right off the bat is to be. I think to be authentic, it's to be like consistent. So like being the same person, no matter what scenario you're in. Because I feel like, especially being in LA, I feel like people are notorious for like maybe kind of being like, quote unquote, fake. You know, like they'll
Yeah.
be nice to your face and then turn around and talk smack, behind your back or whatever. But something that I feel really fortunate just with coming to LA, that hasn't been my experience. I feel like I got plugged into like a really awesome community of people that are believers and also creatives in the industry that, from what I've seen, are just very consistent in how they act in, around certain people. They're the same way in different scenarios. So I think authenticity for me is just being consistent. Are you the same person, or do you carry your values with you wherever you go, type of thing, and authentically being you or representing yourself. And like you don't feel like you have to be someone different. You're just kind of you.
Yeah, 100%. You mentioned community. Do you think like you being authentic attracted that community, or how did you go about like finding that?
Yeah, I definitely believe like the energy you put out is like what you receive, in like all aspects of life, like maybe dating or, in this case, friendship. And I really feel like
Zoe's single, by the way.
Yeah, I'm single, by the way.
Single.
Yeah, insert
And
my,
he's a DJ.
Putting that out there.
yeah. Insert my email or my number like
Your
right
email?
here.
Yeah, email him for dating
Slide in
inquiries.
that email.
Yeah,
ladies.
send me a 5-page paper of why you deserve me for life. But
Ooh. They gotta deserve it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I know my worth.
He's got his standards. I love that.
Hey,
Stand
that's
on bus-
boldness right there.
That's right. Stand on
boldness.
business. Come on now.
He should have to. People should send in applications to you, and you can filter them, and then
Yeah.
bring him back on
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a
Yeah,
blind
send him-
date episode.
I like that.
Yeah. Send them to my email, and then I'll filter them through.
Yeah, be
Absolutely.
Hey, you
prepared
see
for
that- I see that lilac shirt though, bro. You came ready today.
I came
You're
ready.
always
my
ready.
button is undone right here, but
We'll bleep that out.
I
We'll
came
bleep that
came
out.
ready. Let me just get that. in
We'll
there
just
real
blur
quick.
that real quick.
Don't bleep out Maggie cussing, but bleep out Zoe's button.
Yeah. We don't want anybody to stumble out here. One button done. So
Yeah, bro. You gotta stay pure.
got it.
That's right.
Let me just. Yep.
Yeah, cover that chest hair.
But your original question was
About being authentic
being
in
au-
community.
Community, like
Oh.
you know.
Oh yes. One of my favorite quotes, which I'm going to butcher, is you're the percentage of like the people you're around, or the top.
Oh, you are who the top 5 people around you are. Or something.
Yeah, and like another version is show me your the 5 people you hang around, and I'll show you your future, or I'll tell you what your future is, or
Yeah.
something along
Yeah.
those lines. It sounds way cooler when someone else says it, but I think that just goes with like the energy you put out. So with the group that I feel like I got plugged into, everyone's just go-getters. You know, they value faith, they value being creative and being authentically them. And I feel like I like to think that was the energy that I was putting out. And so naturally we just kind of.
It was. I can confirm.
together.
Yeah. It kind of just came together.
Had to let that sit for a little bit, but yeah, it was.
Yeah. You're like, bro, I'm gonna tell you right now that was not it.
Nah, bro. I wanted to cancel you right up.
Yeah.
Straight up from the beginning.
Yeah.
No, you are, bro.
Thank you.
I'll firm that for you. Yeah.
Cries again. No, thank you, man. Yeah. So I really feel like that's important. The people you hang around are I don't know, vital for your future. And for me, I value authenticity, and so I feel like that's the kind of people I wanted to be around.
Yeah, I agree. Same.
Same.
Yeah.
We all hang
I
out.
love authentic people.
That's good. So sweet.
There's not enough authentic people these days, man.
Just go on a rant.
No
Yeah, I know,
one is real.
2 hours later.
No, I love that. I love it. Well, I wanted to wrap up with a couple things. We were talking about inspiration earlier, and so I was kind of typing some things up earlier, and a few different ways I find inspiration kind of came to mind, and ways that I've talked with other creatives about. So I wanted to share those with you guys, and then I have a last question for you guys to wrap this up. Yeah, but we'll start with the inspiration. These are by no means the top 3 like tips for finding inspiration. They could be. I don't know, but it's not like I did extensive research, but hopefully these are helpful to you guys nonetheless. The first one that I came up with / found is to just research people who've created similar projects for you or that you're trying to create. Whether that's just like YouTube, Google, even TikTok. I remember like even last week, I was working with a client and we were trying to come up with ideas for different social content that they wanted to put out. And so in order for me to even be in a space to be the creative that they were hiring me to be, I had to go out and do my research and just scroll TikTok, which is not necessarily the thing I want to do. Yeah. But in order to get some of those creative ideas flowing, I had to go research like what was working, what were people watching in that scenario, and figure out like what would work. So yeah, just research things and research what works, but also research what you like and research what speaks to you, and then try to take inspiration from that to create what you're creating. Second thing is to try another creative medium. Like get out of your head a little bit and go do something else. I've been trying to learn more about like music recently because I like played piano as a kid and had piano lessons, but then I don't know, once I hit like 11, 12, I just like stopped and haven't really done it since, except for like maybe learning one song or two, but not even learning about music theory at all. Yeah. So, but I've been trying to learn more about that recently, and it's a crazy thing that happens when you do something else that's creative. It just, I don't know, it gets things firing in your brain, and I feel like you loosen up as well, and you're able to think more freely, kind of like just hopping in the shower, you know what I mean? Like you just
100%.
You're doing something that you're not necessarily like, well, you're comfortable with taking a shower, but in this scenario, you're not really comfortable doing something new, and it's pushing you, and it's causing your brain to kind of like find new paths because you're doing something different. So yeah, try something new. And then the last thing, which is what we're doing right now, sort of, really simple, just talk with friends, bounce ideas off of friends. I have found that that's like the biggest way that helps me. Even if it's just asking my friend like the dumbest question, just like, yo, like I'll just like play word association, just throw a word out there and see what they say, and then it triggers something in my brain to think about it deeper and figure out what I actually was trying to think about and say, when my brain gets to a point where I'm just like so clouded because I'm thinking way too much, super hard about it. Even today, for another example, with this podcast, I was sitting next to my homie Duncan upstairs, and I was like trying to type away, trying to figure out like, okay, how do I close this podcast out? And I was just like, yo, Duncan, like, what do you think of this? And he was like, what? That's like super broad. I'm like, no, just like tell me the first thing that comes to your mind. And he told me, and then what he said just threw me into a frenzy, and I just started like typing like crazy. And I was like, 2 seconds ago, I couldn't even come up with one thought, and now I got like all these thoughts, and they're more ordered, and I'm able to like put them down more easily. So yeah, just talk and brainstorm with each other. But
isn't that crazy how that works?
it's wild, bro. I'm like, how does like bouncing one idea just unlock like a floodgate? Like, how does that happen?
I think sometimes as creatives, you can just be so close to an idea that like it's hard to see like the bigger picture because you're like so close to it. You've been working on it.
Yeah.
And then when you come to someone who is not close to the idea, they're able to see a bigger picture and be like, oh, what if you did this? And then you're like, oh, yeah, but what if I did that?
It's so simple.
Yeah, it's so simple. I just needed to like step away from it or get a different perspective.
Refocus.
Yeah, oh, 100%. That's how I felt with, yeah. Wow. Yeah, I mean, with all of my music projects, I always have my roommate, Nate, who actually inspired the Guanabana song, listen to my stuff, because same thing. I'll be in a rut. I'm like, man, I don't know what to do here. I don't know what to say here. Oh, and I'll just be came to my head over my computer like for hours, like, bro, what? And he's like, dude, what if you did this? What if you did this? And he's not a musician, but he's got a really good ear.
He's an idea man too.
Yeah, very one of the best guys to give notes, like on anything, like literally anything. He'll have like something good to say. But yeah, and then like we were saying, he just opened up like the doors in my mind. He just needed someone else to like open up the door for me. But yeah, no, so I love that.
He had the key, bro.
Dude, he had the key. He had the key. Yeah.
That's a new
That's
song.
a new song.
Yeah. Actually, wait, hold up a sec. Actually, no, I think that's a Future song, so I can't. They already did that.
That is so funny.
Dang
it, Future.
Yeah, that lane's already been pursued, but if he didn't, then yeah.
That's so funny.
Those
That's
were
so
good
funny.
tips, though. I love what you said about creating with a different medium. That's something I've been doing a lot lately. And
Really?
some of my roommates and some of my friends have been teasing me because I feel like I have a different craft every like couple days. But
What are you making these days?
I've been making so many things. I did the other day. I did a Polaroid emulsion lift. Have you ever heard of that?
Nope.
What is even that?
Okay, so fun. I've just been trying to challenge myself to do things that I don't know how to do or
Yeah.
that scare me because it's such an empowering thing to experience and just really fun to get the creative juices flowing. So I take a lot of Polaroids to do an emulsion lift. You cut the Polaroid open, separate the positive film, like the image, from the negative. So you're like peeling it. And then you put the like top piece with the photo on it in hot water and paint with a paintbrush really gently, and the whole photo comes off as this like piece of gel, like ink.
What?
And if you do it the right way, it comes off in one piece, and then you can slip like watercolor paper underneath it in the water and pin it down how you want and lift it out of the water and shape the Polaroid onto a page and then let it dry out, and you've got this like cool art print.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm still trying to picture that, but I believe that looks sick.
When you first lift it out of the water,
Mm-hmm.
is it able to be like manipulated in any way? Like, could you take like a brush or a toothpick and like?
Yes. Yeah. The really hard part though, I did it like maybe 7 times before I got one that stayed together. It rips really easily. And it's like this very thin film.
And that's tough too, because like, well, one, Polaroid's expensive, and then
Right.
2, like, you only got one shot to do it with one photo. So if you have like a really good photo, you better like go try some other ones before you try that one. You know,
Totally. I tried to use ones that I like didn't care as much about, which sounds bad, or like ones that didn't turn out just to practice. But
was it of Zo?
yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, that makes sense. I would do that too.
I actually do have a really cute Polaroid of the first time I ever went over to Zoe and his roommate's house. I like took my camera, and I have a bunch of fun little like backyard party photos. So now that I've figured it out, I should take one and make a print.
You
Yes.
should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How cool.
I like that idea.
Yeah. Have you done any crafts recently? Or any fun new creative?
Not really
things?
crafts recently, but for this podcast, I was inspired by a homie of mine, and he's an artist as well. And he was telling me I should get a canvas and project like the Create to Create logo like onto it with a projector, and then use that to like get like black paint and then paint the logo like by hand. And then use that as like a backdrop or something. I don't know where I would put it.
No, that's awesome.
I record like everywhere. Like I'll record like next week. I'm recording in Chicago because I'm like going there to record with a specific person. So I'm just like, I need to figure out something to do that would kind of like showcase creative to create, while recording. But I don't know if I would travel with it yet. But I still want to do it because I think it'd be fun just to like paint that.
That would be cool. It's such a fun challenge to even just get creative with all of the different ways that you could have some sort of consistent piece in the podcast. Maybe you make a pillow.
A pillow?
Or maybe maybe wall art.
I definitely want to make some merch at some point too. Some hats, some sweatshirts. But at this point,
pillows
Pillow set. Cool. Yeah, any couch, it works. You can travel with it, sleep on the plane. Yep.
I'm always sitting on couches or chairs.
Yeah.
You guys know.
Really quick, I had one more. I loved your inspiration tips. I had
thank you.
Can I ask Zo a question about one of them?
100%.
Please.
Okay, I also loved how you're talking about researching things and researching people.
Yep.
I'm so curious. Do you have any DJs that you research or like closely watch their careers and like look up to and learn from consistently?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a big person right now that's like really hot right now is John Summit.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, obviously y'all know probably who John Summit is, but yeah, it's just been so fascinating seeing his journey because it seems like one of those like overnight successes where like this dude just came out of nowhere, like suddenly he's like touring, like headlining all these big shows, selling out arenas, all this stuff. His music's going crazy. But I actually did a little deep dive of his journey last week because I was curious. I'm like, where did this guy come from?
Yeah, I actually would love to hear this. I have no idea.
Yeah, and essentially he was just like some like...
Is this him?
Yeah, this is one of his biggest songs.
My iPad's about to die, so...
Rip.
iPad kid.
I'll be honest, I actually haven't heard this.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm appalled.
I just see girls on TikTok talk about how cute he is.
There goes my iPad. Oh, but that's John Summit, ladies and gentlemen.
Shouldn't have been playing Candy Crush.
Shouldn't have been playing it.
Too much Clash of Clans.
Too much Fortnite. Yeah, I mean, I won't go through his whole journey, but like pretty much he was a guy that started DJing, I believe, I want to say in college. He was like DJing, he was actually a bartender and he got fired, but he loved music. And he was like, hey, I still want to work here at the bar. Like, what can we do? And I believe the bar was like, well, we need a DJ. And he's like, well, I'll do it. And he started DJing and then putting out music. And then it slowly kind of grew to where he's at now. But I think the appeal with him is it looks like he genuinely like loves what he does every time he like performs and whatnot. And so I think people, from what I've seen online, like gravitate towards the energy. That's like they can see themselves in him, like that's how we would be if we were DJing in front of thousands of people. So like he's been really great. Someone that I actually was just researching earlier today is this guy named Fortet. I don't know if you guys have.
Yeah.
Vaguely.
He did a set with Skrillex and Fred again at Coachella last year.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was actually the first time that I heard of him. Obviously he's been around for a long time. I think he's out of the UK, but I love his approach to things. His in the interview that I saw with him, he's like, yeah, I kind of like doing whatever, like creative freedom is what he called it. He's like, I like being able to do like a slow acoustic album with an artist, and then I'll go DJ EDC, and then I'll do like this dance track, and then I'll do this other thing. And I'm like, I just like related to that so much because that's essentially what I would love to do is, be in that, be able to do this, whatever.
It's kind of what you're doing at a smaller level right now, to be honest.
Yeah.
You're doing like corporate events, even in like the movie industry out here, a TV film industry, you're doing like bigger events, and then you're doing weddings, and then you're going out and raving in the desert with friends. So
that's 100%. Yeah. I think that's probably why I like him so much. I'm like, okay, someone on a bigger scale is like doing that, which is like cool to see and is like very inspiring for me.
Yeah.
And also too, Fred again, I think is just
Fred again, master.
Love him. Yeah.
Insane.
It's so cool to have people like that are further along in their careers, but doing what you want to do, because it gives you an example of what to work towards. I mean, I don't think I would even be doing what I do if I didn't have that.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
Oh yeah. It's insane.
Fred again is, in my mind, Fred again is a generational artist that we're watching right now.
Like someone who will like mark and define the music of our generation.
I think so.
Like stand the test of time type vibes.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Just because what he's doing like not only with the music, but then what he's doing to like perform it and bring people together too. Like the show he recently did at the Coliseum, I believe, Los Angeles Coliseum,
or the stadium,
or the Rose Bowl. It was at the Rose Bowl.
I don't know where it was.
Anyway,
either, but
it was
like
for that. Yeah.
It was like I mean, however many people you can pack in that stadium, like 80, 90,000 at least.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of the first like EDM shows of its kind, where he just packed out a whole entire stadium.
It was
pop-up show, and like I think they like put it together in like a week or 2 weeks or something.
Yeah,
it's wild.
It's insane. It is absolutely insane to see what I think is so cool with him is like, I feel like his music is kind of unconventional. Like it's not what you would expect, at least for me, of like mainstream. Well, maybe I don't even know if it is mainstream, but just his music is so fresh, and I think that's why like there's a big draw for him. Is it's different. Takes samples from things and gives it like a cool beat. So I think that's inspiring for me and any creative where it's like, yeah, like be in your own lane, and if it's good, it could potentially take off.
Just continue to do it. I think that's the biggest thing. Like it's good to be inspired by others, but then like idolize them causes you to not realize the special gifts that you've been given.
Right.
To then go use those to impact people around you and be used by God.
100%.
Hot take.
That's good.
Yeah.
No, that is good.
I'll say it.
Don't force me.
Yeah.
Don't force me.
No, Fred is so good. I have a funny little anecdote about his stadium show. When I'm back in LA, a lot of times between tours, I work in hospitality at different venues. And sometimes I am just like shopping the artist rider and picking up groceries. And sometimes I'm like being given keys to a van and I'm going to pick people up. And when Fred did his residency at the Shrine this past fall, I think it was like 8 shows originally, and they maybe extended it to 11. Every night was sold out, and I was working a few of those and got told to go pick him and a couple of people in his crew up in Venice and drive them over to the venue.
Actually?
Yeah, no
way.
For real. No, it was so fun.
She waits till after we talk about him to tell about it.
Sorry. It's not like we're buddies. I literally met him twice, and it was so brief, but drove him and his tour manager and a couple other people in their crew, like in this van across town for one of his shows. And in the car ride, I'm just staying silent and driving, focusing on being behind the wheel in Los Angeles traffic.
Focusing on not killing the dude.
Totally. I'm like, I love Fred again so much. He's adorable and wonderful, and, got to keep him safe. I was so nervous, though, because that was one of the first times I've like, I don't know, I was in a situation like that with an artist that I'm a huge fan of.
That's so sick.
And he's so big. But he's really sweet. And obviously, because I'm driving, I'm like overhearing their conversations in the car. And at this point, it was this past fall, he's doing the Shrine shows, and he says out loud, I think next time I come back to Los Angeles, I want to play a stadium. Like, I remember him saying something about wanting to come back to LA and wanting to do a stadium show. And somebody, I don't remember if it was his TM or someone else, but somebody's like, maybe you should start with an arena first. And he's like, no, I want to go all in. Like, I want to play a stadium.
Maggie, you are in the presence of history.
No, isn't that so cool? And
you got to write that in a journal. I mean, it's on a podcast now, so it's official.
No, it was so cool. And I remember that conversation sticking with me because I like look up to him so much. I respect him so much. I think he's incredible. But I loved his almost radical belief in himself and just motivation in, oh, no, I don't need to go from like this auditorium to then maybe trying to sell an arena to then seeing if someday I can do a stadium. He's like, the next time I'm in LA or like in Los Angeles at some point, I want to play a stadium. Skip the arena. I believe in myself. I know I can do this.
That's fire.
So cool.
I'll snap to that. That's fire.
No, yeah, I thought that was sick. And then when I saw that show get announced, I was bummed because I was out of town and wanted to go. But I was like, how cool that I kind of maybe witnessed.
He did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he believed in himself, did it.
Yeah.
And, it's I'm sure it's not just to believe in himself, but it's to believe in his team too. He's like, I know we can make it happen. So like, why don't we do it?
Right.
Like, why do we have to follow the status quo, or why do we have to follow what other people have done? It's again, it's like, take inspiration from what other people have done. Usually it's best to go to arenas and then stadiums because you don't want to spend all the money, the time and effort to get into a stadium and then not fill it, obviously. But hey, props to him. He thought he could do it, and he did.
He's awesome. And he's a great example of an artist that has a team that works as a team and reflects really positively on him. Like, everybody that I met in the few days that I worked those shows was just so kind. A lot of them were British, so they had cute accents. Cool. But everybody was wonderful, and it was so cool because the way that they operated, and they probably have a crew of maybe like 30, 40 people because it's such a big operation. Like,
have to.
Yeah, all of them just carried themselves with a lot of grace and dignity, and they were just, I was so inspired by seeing them work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
That's a fire story. What the heck?
Just
casually hops on the pod and drops a bomb.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I was part of Fred Again Making History. Yeah.
I just overheard it. I was just driving the van,
Don't worry
guys.
about it, guys.
Yeah,
I was just driving.
Yeah.
I was just keeping him alive.
Yeah.
I used to be a chauffeur actually too.
Whoa.
Well, yeah, like officially though, like a black car driver. Yeah.
That's cool.
It was fun.
No, I honestly thought it was so fun.
I drove a Lineum and I drove a Lineum and then, I drove not a Lineum. I drove a Lesso, and then we drove like a Lineum and Skrillex as well.
What? Nice.
Back in Indiana days.
That's so fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
What the heck?
It's such like a random funny job that comes up sometimes. One time I did, who was it? I think when I was working at the Bellwether here in LA for a couple months, sometimes we would get rental cars if like there was a band staying in a hotel and we'd have to go pick them up. And I picked up some of the guys in Mumford and Sons one time.
Oh, that's fun.
And I just thought it was so cool. And one of the guys in the band told me that the song I was playing was cool and that he hadn't heard it in a long time. And I don't even remember what it was, but I was like, I feel awesome right now.
Was it one of their songs?
No, that would be so embarrassing. I had to like make sure I like, because I'm DJing while I'm driving them.
Yeah.
I had to make sure
big deal.
none
Can't
of
be
their
playing
songs
their
came
music,
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a no-no.
Like,
So
hey,
funny.
so have you guys heard of this band? I'll wait for it.
I will wait. There you go.
That's
So one time I drove my mom to the airport one time. That was pretty crazy.
And you're about to drive your friends that you loved to their honeymoon.
Yeah, I'm about to drive my best friend to the LAX.
That's even better.
With his wife. That's pretty nuts.
Dude, that's so sick.
Yeah.
That's
That's actually wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
It is.
Well, I also have to pick them up too from the airport. So
that's also a once in a lifetime opportunity.
That's true. That is true. So yeah, it's pretty cool if you ask me.
Normalize everything being a once in a lifetime opportunity. Because it is.
It is. That's
It is.
so
Low-key.
real. I love looking at life that way. Like, we are never again going to be in this room with this exact like combination of people in this moment on this day.
Nope.
That is beautiful.
It's special, guys.
It's so special. I could cry.
Thank you for being here.
Oh yeah,
Thanks
or
for
like
making it
this age.
Yeah.
Because like tomorrow you would be one day older.
Facts.
Even
Drop it,
minute,
bro.
seconds.
Drop that mic over there. Drop it. Thanks for doing it carefully.
Yeah, I know for me, I hate when people drop my mics, so I won't do that to you.
He throws it.
I'll return the favor if I ever get your mic in my hand.
Yeah.
I won't drop it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, one last question for you guys, and then we're gonna wrap.
Okay.
I've been asking this I've been asking this to everybody that hops on. I'm not gonna cut that out. I'm gonna leave it.
That's all, folks.
That's all, folks.
Dude, I feel like I stuttered so much earlier in this episode. Okay.
It just happens.
It happens.
All right, final question. What does it mean to you to be a creative?
Man, can I grab my phone and
go for
read
it.
something?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be right back.
So you got to start answering quick, son. What does it
Yeah.
mean?
Okay. What does it mean for me to be a creative? I think for me it means to. Wow. First of all, I think just to make something, whether that's like tangibly ideation, music, whatever. Being a creative, I believe, is someone who like makes things that wasn't made before, like making something that wasn't like
Creating something new.
creating something new that wasn't already already there.
Yep.
In a unique way. For me, being a creative, I believe, is using the gifts that I believe that God gave me with the music and to the best of my ability. I believe that we're called to be excellent in like what we do, and so doing that the best of my ability. So being a creative is just using the gifts that I've been given to hopefully help inspire other people. Essentially, yeah.
So what you're saying is use your gifts in an excellent manner.
I believe so. Yeah,
Yeah.
to the
I
best of
love
our
that, bro.
abilities.
Yeah. I love that. All right, Maggie, you're on the spot.
Yeah, okay. I just love this question so much. And I told you I've been doing crafts lately. I've been really into trying out different creative outlets and just kind of going on this journey of discovering who I am as a creative. And to keep a long story short, my church here in LA, back in May, we had kind of a camp conference weekend situation in Malibu. We all go out and stay. And if you've been to a conference before, there are like a bunch of different sessions that you go to, and you can kind of pick and choose which ones you want to go hear. And there was this really cool session all about just creativity as a believer, and about how so often in our culture, we put people in these categories as creative or like not creative based on your career or what you do. And I've felt like self-conscious at times about whether or not I'm a creative, because I'm not necessarily in a creative career, even if I'm surrounded by creatives. And they were talking about how silly that is, because we all were made in the image of our creator, and he is a creator. So inherently we are creative. We were created to create, right?
Yep.
So I was thinking about this recently, and I have this book of liturgies, of just like poems and prayers that one of my friends lent to me. And there's a liturgy for creativity, and I made collage art based on this the other day.
That's sick.
But the first part of it, I just think is so beautiful. And it says, "O creator of the ends of the earth, the heavens are shouting your significance. The skies are singing of your wondrous mystery. If day to day pours forth speech, let me listen. If night after night displays knowledge, let me be a student of the stars. We are created to create, no matter who we are. We are not artists or scientists, teachers or tradesmen. We are the Imago Dei. Let us walk in the good works you've created for us." Mic drop.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we
I'll
are the
drop the mic
Imago
for that.
Dei. Yeah.
There it is.
It's so beautiful. So I
Can
love.
you send that to me?
Yeah, I have a picture
I'm
of
gonna
it.
plaster that all over Created to Create page.
It's so good.
And I'm gonna share it with you guys too. That is so beautiful.
Yeah, and that book is like my biggest recommendation.
What's
It's
it
so
called
cool.
again?
It's called Liturgies for Hope
Liturgies for Hope.
Yeah. by Audrey Elledge and Elizabeth Moore. So
I'll
good.
drop the link. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to read that too. That's beautiful. You guys should rewind and listen to that again, because I'm gonna listen to that 10 times over when I edit this.
I love it. I wish I could say I wrote it. I think it's such a cool work of art.
Yeah, that's fire.
I agree. That's a good place to end it.
Okay.
I'm gonna end it there. Thank you guys so much for hopping on and just chatting. Guys, keep creating.
Absolutely. Dude, thanks for having us, man.
Yeah.
welcome.
Thank you so much.
Mic drop.
Boom.
Peace.